Banana Twist Chapter 9 Only the Beginning. It took a couple 100 hours to get the baby fish safely into another aquarium. By now Goober had 3 new aquariums, and he'd bought some new fish, swordtails and black mollies and neon tetras, and snails and a hideous catfish, and some more green stuff and more pills to put in the water to purify and sanctify it. I couldn't escape Goober any more than his fish could escape from the aquariums. But now it didn't matter. Summer would be over, and I'd be going to Fairlee, and I'd be rooming with a guy named Louis K. Train, Jr., and I'd have my own television set and my own refrigerator. In the next couple of weeks, Fairlee sent me a ton of stuff. They must have a giant public relations staff or something. There were all these kinds of letters and directives and suggestions and a whole lot of compliments about what a great school Fairlee was, and what a great guy I was for getting in. I'd never felt so in my life. They had one of those computer typewriters, so that it looked as if every single letter was directed only to me, Jonah, and all through the letter they'd mention my name, but you could tell it was done automatically, and Louis K. Train and all those other guys would be getting the same letter, only theirs would keep saying, "We'll be glad to have you aboard, Louis," or Gustav, or Gerald, or Gary, while mine said, "We'll be glad to have you aboard, Jonah." I was beginning to feel pretty popular with all the mail I was getting, even if it was just form letters. I did get one fairly personal letter from them telling how well-matched Louis K. Train and Jonah D. Crock were as roommates, and what great guys we both were, and how we shared so many interests and hobbies and so on. I was pretty sure that Louis K. Train, Jr. had souped up and syruped up the questionnaire as much as I had. It was Saturday, and Goober had been bugging me all morning about coming over to help clean up his aquarium. I finally gave in, just to get him off my back. After we cleaned the aquariums, we sat on the living room floor to have our banana splits. I looked again at the boxes on the living room chairs and couches, trying to figure out whether they were the same boxes or different ones each time. Different. Now there was a big one that looked as if it might have a coat or something in it, and that bunch of little boxes that had been on the green chair a couple of days ago wasn't there anymore. Just a hat box or something that looked as if there could be a hat inside. Goober's mother must shop a lot. She never was home, so I guessed that she spent her time shopping, buying things, bringing them home, and going out and buying more things the next day. Or maybe exchanging them all the next day. That would keep her busy. Some people had pretty boring lives. Goober was talking away as usual and getting marshmallow sauce on his cheeks. "To be when you grow up." "I am grown up," I said. "I just look very, very young for my age. Actually, I'm 32. He didn't listen. "I've decided to be a psychiatrist," he said, chomping on a banana. "I thought you were one already," I said. He started to mash up his banana split. "It's wise to select your profession when you're young," he said. "That way you can center your interests." "I thought your interests were fish of various shapes and sizes," I said. "Tropical fish are my hobby," he corrected me. "You have to have hobbies for purposes of relaxation. It's best to try a variety of hobbies while you are young. Then when you grow up and are a business or professional man, you can relax with your hobbies from the pressures of your days." He was mopping up the rest of his banana split. I had finished my last bite, so I stretched and stood up. There was a rattling at the door. It was Goober's mother, Mrs. Grube. "Darling boy, do help me with these packages," she called. Goober and I both went to the door. "And I see it's your nice friend. Have you come about the faucet?" she asked. I shook my head and reached for a couple of the boxes she was balancing in her arms. "An absolutely madly exhausting day," moaned Mrs. Grube. "Dreadful, wild, devastating day." She started for a chair, but it was covered with other boxes. She pushed them off and sank into it gratefully. "It's too much, she murmured. "Ghastly people, I don't know what the city is coming to." Goober carried our bowls out to the kitchen. Mrs. Grube rummaged in her purse. "I picked up the mail, darling boy." She looked vaguely in my direction. "Here, love, and put it on the dining room table." She flourished a handful of envelopes in the air. I took them and put them on the dining room table. The top one caught my eye. It was from Fairlee School. I'd know their stationery anywhere. And it was addressed to Louis K. Train, Jr. I stood there staring at it stupidly, wondering how it got there. Goober wandered back from the kitchen. "A letter from that school for you, precious boy," called Mrs. Grube. "Forwarded finally. When will they get our new address?" I stared at Goober. He was picking his nose. "What is your name?" I asked slowly and distinctly. He blinked his bulging eyes. "What do you mean, what's my name?" "I thought it was Goober Grube." "Oh, that! Goober's my nickname, of course, and Grube is my stepfather's name. When Mom married him, I just kept my same old name, Train. Funny you never knew that. You never asked me, and I never thought to tell you." "So you're Louis K. Train?" I said stupidly. "Junior," he amended. "The K is for Knowlton. It's a family name. How come you're so interested in names all of a sudden?" Mrs. Grube called in from the living room. "I'm going to take a bubble bath, darling boy." Goober hadn't read his letter from Fairleigh, so he didn't know yet that I was to be his new roommate, or even that I was going to Fairleigh too. He glanced down at the table. "Oh, I see why you wondered about my name. This letter, well, it's from some school I was trying to get into." He opened it and glanced at it. "Okay, I got in. I knew I would." He looked at me with his bulgy eyes. "Since I'll be away at school this year, would you take care of my fish for me?" He blinked and added, "Or maybe they'll let me bring the fish. It's worth a try." So much for starting fresh. Just as I thought I could write "Amen, Fini, the end" to my friendship with Goober, I could see it was only the beginning. Fairleigh, here I come. The end.